Leaders often embrace change. It's part of what sets you apart. You have a vision of a better future, and that usually means recognizing that something within the organization isn't working quite as you would like. So leaders guide the organization toward a better future. However, despite good intentions, change efforts frequently fall short. In fact, McKinsey reports that a staggering 70% of change programs fail to achieve their goals. There are several reasons for this, but today let's explore one major factor. Leaders sometimes forget an important fact, that organizations are like babies. That's right, babies. Babies have an amazing hunger mechanism. You know when they're hungry, so does everybody else within a 3-block radius. And when they're full, there's no feeding them no matter how hard you try. They just won't budge. They will not eat. Let's imagine a graph that represents a baby's appetite. On one axis, we have the baby's capacity, basically how full the baby gets. And in the beginning, he's crying out, his stomach's empty, he's ravenous for milk. And as you feed him, his stomach gets more and more full. His hunger decreases until finally he's full. And at this point, the baby is done. No more food, thank you very much. Now, I remember this vividly from when my son was a baby. We could instantly tell when he was full. He would constantly deploy his air defense system, waving his arms wildly, knocking away any spoonful of food that we offered. There was absolutely nothing we could do to get any more food into him once he hit his limit. And the same principle applies to organizations when it comes to change. Organizations can only handle so much change before they hit their capacity. Once that limit is reached, the air defense system kicks in. Leaders who push for further changes after this point often find themselves facing pushback. People simply can't process anymore. The result? Waving arms in the form of direct opposition, passive resistance, or even disengagement. Resistance manifests in different ways. Some people may voice their concerns directly, while others become passive-aggressive. They quietly drag their feet. Some people may check out altogether. Quiet quitting is real. They mentally disengage or even quit and leave the organization. All these reactions are indicators that the organization has hit its change limit. Now, of course, there are times when change is absolutely necessary. In times of crisis, the organization must adapt in order to survive. We've all experienced seasons like that, where change is constant and unavoidable. But these periods come at a high cost. Because people can only handle so much change before they burn out. And an organization that's always fighting fires or creating crises to justify constant change is asking for trouble. Burnout is real, and no team can function under a perpetual state of uncertainty. So if your organization has just gone through a season of rapid change, or if your people have been living with constant uncertainty for an extended period, it's important to ask yourself, what's their capacity for change right now? Are they full? If so, it might be better to pause and give people time to digest the changes. And let's be honest, some leaders thrive on change simply because we get bored, or we're interested in the next shiny object. We enjoy keeping things exciting, constantly tweaking and shifting things around. If that's you, take a moment to check in with your team's capacity before launching the next big transformation. It's much better to ask these questions up front than to be met with resistance later on. Nobody wants to deal with an air defense system and peas flying all over the place. In short, change management fails when leaders forget that organizations, like babies, have a limit. So ask yourself, what's your team's capacity for change? By paying attention and understanding when they need a break, you can avoid unnecessary obstacles and make your change efforts far more successful.